The Steel Ball Run anime is coming out in less than 2 weeks. I thought it would be fun to go over some of the arcs I'm really looking forward to the most finally getting adapted. Now to get the ball rolling with number 5, Wrecking Ball, an arc I consider somewhat underrated. Introduces one of my favorite characters in Steel Ball Run, Wekapipo. Wekapipo is one of those characters that ties up the world building just by existing. Getting to see another practitioner of the spin from the Kingdom of Naples is something I found so unexpected in my first read through. Him knowing who Zeppeli is just ups the stakes to a level we haven't seen before in the race. His left half Ataxia is such a visually interesting ability, and I can't wait to see how they will attempt to animate the effect, and what kind of sound effect they will end up using. Will they use Hamon just as they did for Gyro's ball, or it'll be something completely new? Another reason I can't wait for this to get adapted is because of the scenery. The snowy plains that accompany this fight were so stunning, and the genius intertwining of said terrain, the way Gyro finds the goal rectangle through the snowflakes that appear at the end of the fight with Wekapipo. I can't wait to see how David Production will set up the mood and atmosphere around this fight. Also, Magent is such a weird freak, and I really want to see how they will end up directing his voice actor. Now for number 4, The Promised Land, Sugar Mountain. The Promised Land is a perfect example of why Steel Ball Run is great. The pacing is insanely good. There's always something interesting happening that is progressing the plot. Araki cleverly changes the Devil's Palm from the desert to a concept of a trial, a test, fitting into the religious theme around the corpse parts. One of the most iconic panels of Gyro calling that girl stupid, which I'm sure will spawn into another anime scene that will be memed to death. Man, Gyro's such an a-hole. I feel so many people forget how rude and weird he actually is throughout the entirety of part 7. Something I always find funny for some odd reason. The humor in this arc is always on point. I can't wait to see the sheer anxiety on their faces while they're trying to spend the money, especially the bit where horny Gyro tries to buy some girls drinks and he immediately starts turning into a tree again. Tattoo You initially confused me on my first read. The way it's visualized for the first time is kind of weird. I wonder if that's going to change in the anime. The fight that breaks loose in the casino is such a spectacle. It really has that feeling of an old western, and getting to see our protagonist actually lose is so unusual and nerve-wracking, only to be followed by a gut-wrenching scene of Johnny having to give up the course parts, the one thing that can allow him to progress back to 0. This is one of my absolute favorite scenes in Johnny's character progression, and I really hope the new VA does him justice here. Before I go to the next one, I will kindly ask you guys for a like and a sub if you're enjoying the video. I have a lot of SBR and JoJo stuff in production, which I'm sure you will like. And apologies if my voice sounds a bit messy, I'm still a bit ill. Now back to the video. Number 3, World of Man. I mean, okay, what is there actually to say here? Everyone glazes this bit so much, and we all know why. Ringo freaking Roadagain is one of the most compelling minor antagonists in all of JoJo's, and kickstarts Gyro's self-actualization. One thing I hope that they don't censor is his backstory. It's very real and raw. I heavily doubt they will, since Fugo went throughout something similar that was an anime-only edition. I really want to see how they will characterize and direct Ringo's VA. He always sounded kind of like a Western anti-hero in my head. And about the rewind effect, I wonder if they're going to borrow any of the other time-based effects just like they did for Hamon for the spin. Plus, let's not forget, we get this glorious post of a panel finally animated. This panel is easily one of the most popular gags in the whole fandom. There's so much fan art and even animation space just solely off this panel. And I know, it's just a dumb, corny panel. It's a fall off your horse joke. But I feel this panel encompasses the humor Gyro has and shares with Johnny so well. It's because of this panel that the absolutely bizarre and asinine BS they tell each other between adventures stops surprising the readers. They just are like this, and it weirdly makes sense. And I can't wait to see that wonderful dynamic unfold in the anime. Number 2, High Voltage. What is technically the final arc, if you exclude chapter 95, we finally see Johnny standing on business on his own without his bigger bro Gyro. But ultimately, what we are all waiting here for is the epic Zuwardo reveal. This is easily my favorite form of pandering, like, ever in any anime or manga. It doesn't feel forced, it makes sense, and it's just so seamless. It doesn't mess with the pacing or anything like that. This guy isn't just Diego, he is Dio, and he's ruthless and disgusting and an absolute psycho, just like the one in part 3. Again, to see this guy on screen in any shape or form again for one more time is a delight all of us are anticipating and yearning for so much. Honorable mentions, Silent Way, not only because I love Sandman as a character, but mainly because it's where the most beautiful song of all time was created. I did mention this in my previous video that I'm expecting the Pizza Mozzarella song to get a lot of love by the animation staff. We did get this from the video games in some form, but we never got the bit where Johnny is humming it in succession to Gyro and asking him to form a band. I can't wait for that dumb little interaction in the show, which is like a big thing for so many of us, like all their dumb little interactions finally getting adapted. Oh, I can't wait. I was considering including D4C as well in this, but that would kind of feel like cheating if this arc took up an entire slot, because it's about 15 chapters, so basically a third of the climax. It's too big of an arc if you include Love Train as well, which I'm very curious on how they will choose to visualize the karma dodging effect. And don't get me started on the who shot Johnny scene, Jesus. I did talk about that quite a bit in my previous video as well, so I don't want to waffle here too much about it. Alright, we started this list with balls, and we will finish it with balls, baby. Man, these ball memes are gonna be all over the place this year, and they're gonna be insufferable, man. Alright, number one.
Alright. ジョニー、ジョニー、こっちだ。そういうことなら、そういうことでいいんだ。じゃあな、元気でな。ジャイロ、すまない。本当に、さようなら、ジャイロ。家に帰ろう。
Man, this Nico video used to be my life. Alright, number one is obviously Ball Breaker. I'm sort of cheating because I'm including Break My Heart, Break Your Heart into this as well, but it was part of the arc originally named Lesson 5 in the original run of the manga, so they're technically part of the same arc. He might not be Yuki Kaji, but what we have heard from this guy so far is great, so I'm having high hopes for this one. I'm not super fond from what we have heard from Gyro in the first trailer. He sounds okay-ish in the second one, but I am still a bit worried. I can't wait to see how they'll incorporate Hama sound effects in this. The spin is such a big part of this climactic fight. Gyro's final lesson and his stand reveal, and then his inevitable fate as a Zeppeli. God, I'm getting up just by thinking about this shit, bro. Like, I cried like a baby on my last reread. How many times am I supposed to say goodbye to this man? Oh, I'm sure these two are such comfort characters for so many people, and not just me. Seeing Johnny have to actively grieve for someone he sees as a brother while having to fight funny and then accompanied by the goodbye scene, I'm so not ready for this, dude. I feel like Act 4 breaking through Love Train's wall was done incredibly well in the video games, so I expect that to be animated in a very similar manner. And let's not forget the handkerchief speech. That one's gonna be a doozy, and I'm really hoping whoever they pick for funny is gonna rock it out of the park. Well, that about covers it. Thank you so much for sticking to the end. If you're still here and you really want to support your guy in the best way you can, comments help the video get further in the algorithm. Regardless, I'm looking forward to reading what you guys are looking forward to the most when it comes to the anime. Apologies, as this was a bit of a filler upload. I'm working on a bigger part 7 video, which I'm confident a lot of you guys will enjoy. Until then, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.